It's time for a channel update. Back again, and in this video we're going to have a bit of a channel update, bit of a regroup, bit of a what's going on with Cruor Angelus Silicis, otherwise known as Mike. Hope you're all keeping well. Hope you're all doing your hobby goodness and doing stuff you enjoy. So, right, okay, I've got a list of things that I'm going to go through. So this is going to probably kind of a bit of a rambly video, just a bit of a look-see about what I've been doing recently and what I haven't been doing recently, I suppose. So I'm going to start off with sort of board game stuff. This is my hobby room. I should say this is my hobby room / office, home office, where I also keep my hobby stuff. So we'll have a little bit of a look round and talk about some hobby stuff as we go around. So this is my current collection of board games. Sort of starting on the left there, we've got some Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Vampire Hunters, and some Defenders of the Realm, Castle Ravenloft, bit of Pathfinder adventure card game. Going on to some legendary card games. We've got X-Files and Buffy, Alien and Predator. And then we've got all my Arkham Horror and Eldritch Horror type games there. So you could see these. I've had a real clear out of my board games, really trying to just keep the ones I play. And I don't play these that often. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm sort of getting into a mindset now where you've only got enough time, you've only got enough space, you've only got enough you've only got enough wherewithal really to do so much. So I'm really trying to condense and sort of condense and have my hobby life in a way that I've got stuff that I really enjoy and that I'm going to invest in, and I want to play, and I want to paint, and I want to do all, I want to be fully invested in it. So anyway, so that's board games. Used to have many more. Used to have like this whole side, and up here and down there was all full of board games. But you can only play one game at a time. So that's it. So that's board games. And then as we go through, we have got the cabinets. So these are 6 Detolf cabinets from IKEA. With the lights and all of that. You'll notice a very obvious empty one there, which we'll talk about in a bit when we get to it. But at the moment, I've got sort of varying sort of sets of games on the go at the moment that I really enjoy. So just move some stuff out of the way here so I can get in there. So on the top shelf here, this is Spectre Ops. This is a modern, ultra modern kind of present day warfare skirmish game. Really enjoy it. I'm painting up some scenery. You see some shipping containers there and some dumpsters and some pallets and boxes. And we've got our criminal fraternity here, and we've got our special force guys, our tier 1 operators and all that sort of stuff. So again, real kind of quick interesting skirmish game with, you only need a handful of miniatures each side. And then we move down to Dead Man's Hand, which is a Western kind of late 1800s game. Obviously the Old West, the Wild West, or whatever you want to call it. And this is a game by Great Escape Games. Really good. Again, skirmish game, metal minis. It's just, it does it for me. I don't know if I'll show you some miniatures that I've painted along the way, because I don't show you everything that I paint. But as part of the series, it's stuck to the bottom. They released a DeLorean covered in a tarpaulin. So that's a real cool, just a scenario piece, really. So they've got a Back to the Future DeLorean as part of the scenery. And there's a Doc Brown character in there somewhere too. So, just to kind of, I thought that was a nice little touch. Anyway, then we move down. Got some AVP minis here. AVP by Protos Games is now gone, defunct. The Protos did not retain the license, I believe, Disney acquired the rights to Alien and Predator from Fox, and Prodos no longer now have the rights to produce the game. And they had a massive flash sale of all of the AVP minis, and that's it. You can no longer get it, not from Prodos at least anyway. So I imagine lots of these miniatures will go up in value on the secondary market. I picked up a couple of others. I mean, I never played the game. I just really enjoyed the miniatures. So I've got some aliens there and predators and some commandos and the Queen and some Royal Guard. I've ordered some clear predators, like invisible ones, when they're cloaked. And I bought some eggs, some alien eggs that I wanted to paint up. And I bought the Alien King, which is, just for a nice model to paint up. I've also got the what do you call it? The vehicle from Aliens. The kind of let's have a look. It is called this is it under here. You'll see it'll be instantly familiar to you all. There we go. The Armoured Personnel Carrier. So I've got that as well, that I will end up painting up at some point. Let's put that on the floor. That's just my little hoard of some miniatures at least anyway. So that's AVP. And then we've got a game down here, Project Z, which is just my zombie game. Again, kind of a horde zombie game. And I just like painting up the miniatures for those ones. So that's that. So that's Cabinet 1. And then we move across to Cabinet 2, where we've got about 9,500 points of 30k Traitor Death Guard. I haven't got anything at the moment. I've painted everything I got for my 30k Death Guard. So I haven't got anything else at the moment. So I'm pleased with those as they are. And that project is just pretty much done. Although I do tell a lie, I have got the Demon Prince of Nurgle model from Games Workshop just to paint. Again, just one of those fun models to paint. But that's 9,500 points of 30k Death Guard. And then we'll move across to about 3-ish thousand points, I think, of 30k Loyalist Raven Guard. So, I mean, sort of the antithesis of the Death Guard, which are slow and steady and trudging and getting across the battlefield. These are going to be fast. Lots of drop pods, assault squads, lots of lightning claws or raven's talons for the Raven Guard. So at the moment we've got 3 drop pods all painted up, which I'm really. I mean, I hate the drop pod model. There are mold lines on every single edge of the drop pod. It's a horrible model. But actually, once you've built them and painted them, and again, I paint them in stages and then glued them together. They look. I mean, once you've got a couple or 3, as in this case, I think they look really good together, and I think it's really worth the effort. So every squad that can have a drop pod within my particular right of war for Raven Guard is going to have a drop pod. So we've got drop pod 1 for Tactical Squad 1, drop pod 2 for Tactical Squad 2, and then drop pod 3 for my Seeker Squad. So they've all got drop pods. Then we've got a 15-man Assault Squad, and I'm going to plan to do another one of those. Then we've got a 10-man Tartarus Terminator Squad and a 10-man Dark Fury Squad. Got a Contemptor at the back there. Then we've got a little Moritat on the right and a Praetor, double Raven's Talons Praetor there with jump pack. And then down here, got the Xiphon and the Javelin, and just painted up an Arcus. And I'm in the process now of painting up a what am I painting up now? Storm Eagle, which will be a Darkwing Storm Eagle gunship, which is particular to the Raven Guard. So that's my little project at the moment. I'm really enjoying the Raven Guard at the moment. Then we're going to skip over this shelf, this cabinet here, which used to contain a lot of Blood Angels, which now does not. But we'll talk about that in a sec. And then we've got a cabinet of Titans. So you've seen all these before. So Warhound and Cerastus, Codex, and a little Imperial Knight there, and then the Reaver at the bottom. So that's my little cabinet of Titan Joy, which I do enjoy. And then last but not least, in the final cabinet here, we've just got some bits and bobs at the bottom there, some some extra Titan weapons and stuff for HMS Victory, and then a Bloodthirster, just because I wanted to paint a Bloodthirster. And then we got a couple of shelves of Deathwatch, 40k Deathwatch. Just really like the models. I mean, I started a fledgling Deathwatch art force back in 7th edition, and I do enjoy having that. So I'm going to probably add to that. I'm probably going to pick up the 40k Codex and just sort of make sure everything's still legal, and probably add a few more kill teams to it eventually, just because I like it. So I suppose the big gap is my missing Blood Angels. So as you'll know, my previous video was called Time to Say Goodbye, and it was time to say goodbye to the Blood Angels. My channel name, Crua Angelus Silicis, is based around the Blood Angels. My whole channel was based around Blood Angels, and now I don't own any Blood Angels, not a one. Actually, that's a lie. I've got a 15-man Death Company squad that I've built but not painted, and I've also just picked up a box of Sanguinary Guard because for reasons, but I'll tell you about that another time. So yeah, I decided to get rid of the Blood Angels. I'd not gamed with them for a long time. I'd not played with them at all in 8th edition. Was really heavily invested in 30k. Really enjoy the game and the system and the narrative and the lore and all of that. Really enjoy the 30k novels. Really enjoy, again, reading. Well, I get the audiobooks, but listening to the tales of the traitorous Death Guard and the loyalist Raven Guard. So I've had a couple of the Raven Guard novels. Just really enjoy it. Really enjoy it. So that's what I'm invested in at the moment. So I do have a little bit of regret about selling it, if I'm honest. I mean, it was a huge force, about 22,000 points of 7th edition Blood Angels. I don't know what that translates into 8th edition, but it's good. They're gone. They're gone. Sold them as a job lot. So clearly didn't make as much money as I might have done if I'd sold everything individually, but on the upside or on the plus side. And again, there's a bit of cognitive dissonance about all of that sort of thing. Everything's gone all at once. I got a lump sum all at once, and I've got money in the bank to spend on hobby stuff that I'm actually going to do something with. And I chat with my buddy Callum over at Tabletop Banter. He's an economist by training, and we talk about the value of stuff and the value those Blood Angels had to me sitting in a cabinet, or had to me sitting in the attic, because half of them were in the attic. Held little value really, and I think the lump sum that I did get for them holds more value to me to be able to spend on new hobby stuff rather than a kind of a force that I was doing nothing with. And now I know a lot of you will say, well, you've got a Death Watch force sat there doing absolutely nothing, and that's quite true, but I'm not as heavily invested in that as I was the Blood Angels, and I wouldn't get anywhere near what I got for the Blood Angels for my Death Watch. So you sort of think, well, it's not really worth selling the Death Watch because that's only a couple of shelves worth, whereas the Blood Angels was a huge army. Like I say, I do feel a little bit kind of, there's a little bit of angst, a little bit of I don't know, not pain, but it is quite sad really that they've gone. But I think concentrating on things that I want to paint, I want to game with, and again having a readjustment of my mindset where I can only paint one model at a time. Technically, I mean, you can have lots of things on the go at one time, but physically you can only paint one model at a time. You can only play one game at a time, So I wanted to sort of get my fingers in a few pies with this sort of skirmish games over here, your Spectre Ops and Dead Man's Hand and Project Z and whatever, and just have a few different miniatures to paint. And then 30k is where it really is for me. So yeah, so there we go. Blood Angels are gone. I'm going to keep the channel name though, because I think, you kind of commit yourself when you start a YouTube channel. You pick a name, you know, for by hook or by crook, for gain or for ill, and that's it really. You kind of stuck with it, and I don't really want to rebrand myself. Not that I've got much to brand, but you know, the name is synonymous with me. People kind of see it and sort of like, oh, that's that YouTube channel you can't pronounce, and all of that. So yeah, I'm going to keep the name just because I think of the historical thing, and I've got, you know, dozens and dozens of Blood Angel videos still on the channel, which will clearly stay there forever. Okay, so what else are we doing hobby-wise? Well, I mean, not really part of the hobby, but sort of collecting. Got some more sort of Lego bits. So we got, you know, well, we got the old Death Star, Lego Death Star. Then we got the Millennium Falcon, Kessel Run version. Then we got a couple of other Lego Millennium Falcons up there, which I just like. And the Saturn V. And then we've got DB5 and a Ford Mustang. And the old Slave One from Star Wars, just because I like those models. It's just a cool collectibles, and there's room on the shelf for them, so I thought, why not pick those up? And a little new entry into my collecting habits. I had this little thing where, let me put a light on. Don't know how useful that's going to be though. Where we've got, yeah, I was really, really liking Lord of the Ring replica swords, so I picked up several. So this is Anduril. This is Aragorn's sword in Return of the King. It is Narsil that's been reforged by the elves. So it is, it's a honking sword. It is absolutely brilliant. I really, really like it. It's so yeah, it's just a really, really nice collectible to have. So I picked up that, and then over here, I picked up Glamdring, which is Gandalf's sword. Again, honking sword, but not quite as big as Anduril. And picked up Little Sting as well, because why not? So again, just from a collectible aspect, and just really like having them there too. So that's that. So a bit of sword action, bit of Lego. What else have we got? Rockets. Used to be big into model rocketry. So I've got my my sort of 4 favourites that I flew up on the wall, just for kind of prosperity and all of that. And I've got some pictures on the wall of my rocketry hobbiness. So we've kind of got, so this is the quarter scale of a Patriot missile, sort of with me next to it and me rigging it and it being launched. And it is that one up there on the wall. And then we've got some other rocketry kind of stuff taking off. And we've got the old big boy here, this one taking off here, which is that big one in the corner. The US Air Force one there. And what else have we got? We've got, there we go, this old Competitor 3, which is that one up there. So yeah, again, just like having them on the wall, it's a nice kind of reminder of what I've done. There's that's Child 1 many years ago now, but yeah, just some nice pictures of rocketry, some stuff we did. We got in the newspaper a couple of times for trying to break some altitude records. And there's me with Marty Jobson from the One Show, which is a show on in the UK where we did some rocketry stuff too. And got my certificates for my swords, my certificates of authenticity, which kind of brings us on to these blueprints on the wall, and that light on now is hampering that massively. But I've picked up the I picked it up a long time ago, the D'Agostini build Millennium Falcon, which is still sat under there in a sad state really. I still need to paint the thing. I really might try and commit to painting that this summer when the weather's really nice. It's one of those things I'd really like to finish and mount on the wall. But I really need to paint it. You don't have to paint it. It is coloured in a way that doesn't necessarily dictate you need to paint it, but it will look so much better painted. So I really want to put the effort into it. Having spent £900 or so on it, I think finishing it would be something to do, and all the components, all the parts are in that box. And then moves us on to HMS Victory, which is still sat there, still not having done anything to it, but I will finish it one day. And again, that was another D'Agostini part work, and again, I've got all the components, got all the bits for it. Just need to finish it. I am exactly 2/3 of the way through that, and again, I think the last time I spoke about that HMS Victory, I was still 2/3 of the way through it. There is 120 weekly issues of that particular ship, and I have done 80 of them. So, and under here we've got all of the magazines. So there's my HMS Victories along the bottom there, and then my Millennium Falcons there. So yes, so that's that. So what else have we got to talk about? So we've done board games, we've done Spectre Ops, we've done Dead Man's Hand, AVP. We've done, this is my little list I was going through. Project Z, 30k Death Guard, 30k Raven Guard. Oh, Adeptus Titanicus, we'll talk about in a sec. Blood Angels we've done. HMS Victory, Millennium Falcon, bit of Lego, bit of swords. I think that's the hobby almost wrapped up. So, what else have we got going? Adeptus Titanicus. I have bought absolutely everything for Adeptus Titanicus. I shall show you what we've got so far. Okay, so this sits behind my my shelving, and I've done some unboxings of stuff, and I should do some more actually. I've got some things that I haven't unboxed. So we picked up the Grandmaster Edition when it first came out. Well, not exactly when it first came out, but in the first run of it. It's recently been re-released. So I've got that, but I haven't built anything or done anything with it. Picked up some Cerastus Knights. Picked up some Arriva Battle Titan. So that's the first one with the... What do you get with that? You get the Gatling Blaster, Laser Blaster, and the Power Fist, and the Missile Launcher. So that's what you get with that one. And then I also picked up Warhounds. And I also picked up the other Reaver with the Melt Cannon and Chain Fist. So I have actually got everything for Adeptus Titanicus, pretty much. Picked up the aftermarket weapons from Forge World. So these are for the Warlord. So you get the Quake Cannon and the Macro Gatling Blaster. So I've got those two. So I will be doing something with those eventually, but not today. But I just love having mini Titans. Okay, what else have we got going on behind the scenes here? Another game here, Carnival, which I picked up a while ago now actually. This is this is the starter set with lots of miniatures in there. I just really kind of like it's set in Venice in 1800s or something, and again, skirmish game, but it was really cheap to get into, and I really like the theme, really like the flavour of it, so I wanted to have a look at Carnival. So I picked that up. So that's that. And then last but not least, we are going to have a look at Mortal Gods. So half measures I don't do. Anyway, so I picked up basically the three sort of starter sets for Mortal Gods. This is a game by War Banner, which they're called Darkgate Games or Footsore. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to do a proper video on Mortal Gods. I'm going to unbox these and have a look. This, again, skirmish games in ancient Greece. Yeah, and again, if you've seen sort of films like Spartacus and 300 and then those sorts of films, this is, I mean, again, love that period of history. Love Greek mythology. Love just the mythos and the narrative around ancient Greek history. So again, this was really cheap to get into. Core box here, which is enough to play the game. 45 quid in your friendly local, and then each one of these Sparta starter set and Athenian starter set, they are 31.50 in your friendly local, as opposed to 35 each and 50 each, and 50 for the core. So I'm going to unbox these. I do separate videos for those, just so you can, so they're all kind of buttoned up in their own individual videos. So yeah, so that's my hobby life at the moment, really. Kind of just getting on with the Raven Guard. I've got an event coming up in a week or so as I'm filming this video. So I'm going to get the Raven Guard out for the first time and see how they fare. I'm sure the Raven Guard will fare very well, but it's me and my ability to play the game is probably not going to fare so well. But there we go. It's all good fun getting them out on the table nonetheless. And then we're just going to kind of carry on, really. I'm going to do some Mortal God stuff, I hope. Want to paint up some more Spectre Ops. I've got some more Dead Man's Hand miniatures to paint. May or may not get into Carnival. You know, but I you know, again, I think it was about 100 quid to buy a sort of a stack of it, just sort of, you know, just really kind of fancied the look of it. But anyway, there we go. And Adeptus Titanicus too. So I'm going to feel that my hobby life is kind of a bit more condensed now. It doesn't really seem it, I suppose, does it? But it feels like it is. And we're going to see what we shall see. Again, I you know, was going to commit to making more YouTube videos, but I'll try for sure. Sort of keep you updated about what I've been doing, what I've been painting and building, etc., etc. So anyway, that's it for this one, guys. And I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.